morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Tuesday, June 21st, 2016. I am Dave Biddle, very happy to be joined by the one and only Duane Long. Dan Rubin is on assignment this week, and I'm going to steal a game that he came up with called the in and out game when it comes to recruits. I'm going to throw some names at you, some 2017 recruits. You tell the listener if you think they're going to be in or out of Ohio State's 2017 class, and then talk a little bit about each of the prospects. We're going to start with five-star prospects. We'll go in alphabetical order, starting with Cam Akers. Duane, is Cam Akers in or out?
I think he's in. I think once that he brought his parents up here, and they were really impressed with what they saw with academics. I think that put it over the top. I don't think they really want him to get that far away from him, but I think he wants to come here, and that's what that was about, is convincing his parents that, you know, yeah, I'm getting away from home. Your little boy's going away, but he's going to be in good hands. As far as the talent, the kid's unbelievable. He really is one of the top 2 or 3 backs in the country. It's interesting he's playing quarterback. He actually throws the ball more than people think he does. So he could come in. If we just got in a situation, he could be a guy that we look at as a backup quarterback, an emergency guy. Explosive back, good size. Very determined runner. And he would be, to me, you know, I said that we've got good backs. We're okay. I think we got some good football players. We want to be great again, and Cam Akers is great, so we definitely want him in this class. No doubt we'd wait on him so as long as he wants to take it over. But I think he's going to be a Buckeye.
Trevon Grimes, in or out?
He's in. I think he's. We're going to have that, and we're going to have that taken care of here in August, late August, right before the season starts. Big receivers, split in. You want as many of these guys as you can get. We've been stacking them up, and now we're getting one of the best in the nation. So I've looked at this class, really outstanding receiver class. So when you're a top 5 receiver in this class as compared to last year, it's a completely different thing. It's a very special athlete, big, strong kid. Those guys are so hard. Think about the size of most defensive backs, Dave. You know, 5'10", 5'11", and now you got this 6'3", well-built monster out there, and you're trying to keep them from getting the football. That's why they're so valuable. That's why they go to the top of the NFL draft. Stockpiling these guys, having one night after another. You want a factory of split ends like this, and we're getting a pretty unique one here in Trevon Grimes.
Another 5-star receiver, although a different type of player, smaller receiver, Tyjon Lindsey, in or out, Duane?
I think he's in. This Nebraska flirtation, he's got to eventually step back and go, wait a minute, which program is in better shape? You know, come on. It's Nebraska will never be what they were. They can be a good football program again, but they'll never be a powerhouse program again. He can come in here. He's the kind of player. You know, when we're talking about 5-star kids, they don't really look at depth charts as much. I don't think they do. These kids, they believe in themselves to such an extent, and this kid is just unbelievable in the open field. Absolute game changer potential every time he touches a football. I was just watching film of him this morning. In a game where he's down, when he's touched, they're not touching him. How are you going to tackle a guy you can't touch? He's just great hands. This is a kid that we really want in Scarlet Gray, and I think he's going to come this way. Now we've got his quarterback here. I think he's going to come this way, yeah.
5-star safety Jeff Okudah, in or out?
I'm going to say in. I know that there's this talk about if he's going to get into Stanford. You know, that's if he wants to go that route, that's good football and great academics. But he seems to be wanting to come here. He talks more about Ohio State. I know the Stanford thing is there, but he seems to want to talk about coming here. And he's an immediate upgrade. It's the one area of the team that we're still working on as far as getting the talent level at the safety. Did a great job last year grabbing good and full, and that really helped. We need to keep stockpiling some talent at that position. They're moving cornerbacks to safety. And you can do that. And sometimes some corners are better off moving to safety. But you want to get guys in here, elite guys at that position, if you can. And he is. I thought he was the best safety in the country last year as an underclassman. He's going to come in this year. He's spectacular, Dave. He's one of those guys that you look at on film and so you can plug him in anywhere. He can play quarterback. He's an excellent receiver. Just Okudah, I think he comes this way. I think he's an immediate impact guy. I think he's in the 2 deep at least as soon as he signs his letter of intent.
The last 5-star recruit I'm going to throw your way, defensive end Chase Young, in or out?
I'm going to say in, but that one I'm putting in pencil, not in 10. His parents seem to really want him to stay home, and too often, kids eventually say, okay, I'll just stay home. I'm worried about that aspect, but I think he wants to come. I think he wants to be a Buckeye, and he, too, is one of those kids that's going to step in and play immediately. Long kid, just what you're looking for out on the edge. Outstanding first step. That, to me, is... Well, the first thing I look for, Dave, when I'm evaluating an end, does he have the first step? If he doesn't have that first step quickness, he can't get that tackle wrong-footed right off the snap. You've got to have that. He does. He has it. That's why Kane does, the other kid that looked like we were in good position for a while. He was listed as a top weak side end in the country, and as soon as I saw him, I said, no, that kid's going to be a strong side end. He doesn't have the get off. Young does. He's got it. You want that kind of long guy out there. Out there on the edges, you want the length. Love his motor. He plays the run as hard as he does the pass. I really want him to be in as bad as anybody on this list, but, we still got to get through the parents. That's my only concern there.
I have 3 4-star recruits that I'm going to toss your way. Let's start with Amir Riep, safety from Cincinnati Colerain. You think he'll be in or out, Duane?
I think I'm going to say out simply because, the other side. We get that. Where's the room? And we got Okudah in the class. I'd love to have him in it. I really would. I don't know if we're going to have room for anybody else after the 5 that you just mentioned, and those are the top 5, on just about anybody's list. They continue to talk to him. They continue to bring him in. I think they want to find a way to get him in. I just don't know if they're going to be able to. So I'm going to say out simply because of lack of scholarships, not because he doesn't want to come and we don't want him.
4-star defensive tackle Jay Tufele. I thought it was Tufele, but Bill told me on yesterday's show he's been told Tufele, which sounds better. Tufele reminds me of Tuff Borland. What a good name for a football player. But 4-star defensive tackle Jay Tufele, in or out, Duane?
I'm going to say in. He seems to have a connection up here. He wants to come up here, and you don't turn down the lead defensive tackles. You just don't do it. And I had some reservations about him. He doesn't look like the biggest frame kid. That's always a concern. And then the level of competition, but he's going into camp and combine. I'm trying to remember where it was, and came away looking like the best tackle in the country, according to, I think it was Steve Wiltfong said that, or was it Ryan Barstead? Either way, somebody saw him going head up against another level of competition. That's one thing you can't get away from at these camps and combines. You're going to be going against other elite kids. And those drills, the only difference is they don't have any helmet pads on, which doesn't really, it just does not impact what they're doing. And he's beating top offensive linemen. That says something to me. So he's in. You just don't turn away those kind of tackles.
And Jamyest Williams, 4-star defensive back Jamyest Williams, in or out, Duane?
I'm going to say out, same reason as Riep. It's just not, I just don't see the numbers, Dave. And also, he's a smaller guy, and, Lamont Wade has disappeared. Ayeshiano wants to get big guys out there. We all do. I mean, come on, you want corners to be as big as possible. And I think he will sacrifice a little bit of speed to get a bigger guy out there on the edges. And I just don't think we're going to have room, and I don't think we're going to try to make room for him.
And last question before I let you go. You've mentioned the scholarship space a lot during the show. If you had to bet right now, how many do you think Ohio State will sign in their 2017 class?
I say 18 and 19. If we get to 20, I think they'd be ecstatic. A lot's got to happen, Dave, for us to get that far. You've got to look at the roster and see how young they are. And it's not like you've got a bunch of guys that you're like, okay, we took him, we're trying to fill out a roster. There's so many talented kids here in Columbus right now. It's not like you want to, there's not a lot of dead wood. There's not a lot of kids that are just hanging on. I could see a few more offensive linemen go out of here, but that's really about it. You want to keep these guys that you've had in your program, guys that are working hard, guys that have learned the system. You don't really want to get rid of those guys if they still look like they're showing some promise. And there's a lot of good football players here. We saw it in spring. I just don't know how excited the coaching staff is going to be about, helping some guys leave the program. I think they're going to be rather, wow, man, we want to hang on to him. I think they're only going to get to 18, maybe 19, 20 at the maximum.
Great insights, as always, out of Duane Long. Thank you for the wisdom, Duane. Thank you to the listeners for tuning into the show. I appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great day. Let's hear some Buckeye swag. Best damn band in the land.